Yo, time is 10:42 a.m. Barely slept last night. Okay, how many streams we got left? Just one? Yeah, just one. Girls can never say they want it. I had this good quote from this guy on YouTube. Um, I'll pull it up. I wrote it in my notes. Not on YouTube, on a TikTok video. The guy said, they tell guys that it's their opinion and mindset about women that's the problem, and then when the guys that they're talking about are significantly less misogynistic than the guys that they actually get with, that these women will actually get with. So they'll say, like, oh, the reason why you can't get a girl, why you're not in a relationship, is you're, like, too misogynistic. And then they go and get with guys that are, like, way more misogynistic than the person they were just criticizing, because it actually has nothing to do with that. Misogynistic guys get girls all the fucking time. I've seen it all the time throughout my life. It's basically not even a question to a lot of women. Maybe to some femcels, that's the reason why they're not in a relationship. But to the average woman, doesn't seem to really care about how misogynistic their male partner is, honestly. Especially for sex. Like, especially for sex. It's probably even, like, almost a positive for sex. I feel like women don't like nice guys when it comes to having sex, for example. I feel like it's unattractive to them because it comes off as effeminate. I don't know. That's just a hypothetical there, but yeah, everyone knows this. This is like true and obvious. They will say, "Oh, you too misogynistic. Oh, it's your mindset or something. You just need to be less resentful and shit." As if resentment doesn't come from the pre-existing repeated rejections, right? That's where it comes from. It doesn't come from nowhere. Okay, and then they'll say like it's that, and then get with guys who are like way worse than the person they just criticized. Well, it wasn't that then, was it? And he said something like how these women like can't keep consistent principles. They don't have consistent rules. They just say shit where they feel like it suits the situation, but it doesn't actually mean anything as like a fundamental. Like they don't have fundamentals. Their actual fundamental is getting with guys who are attractive and rich and shit. And they will lie to you. This is like what they do is they will. What did I say? I said like they're sport. They're like the classic fucking sport is to like, what did I say? Lie and like be insecure about shit. That's like their sport. It's like women's sport. Especially young girls. They like spend all their fucking time lying and being insecure about shit. They lie constantly to get what they want. And they have these like fundamental insecurities that they have like apparently no means of resolving. Why even give them a decent level of respect? It's not worth it. They'll treat you like shit anyway. Like, what difference does it make? Especially white women. There's always on North Island getting hit by storms, bro. Ain't no storms in Christchurch. Nah, I saw this. I said, first is tragedy, second is farce. That's a Marx quote. about history. This is like some failed 9/11 or something, and it's just the plane got destroyed and did nothing. Yeah, not as great as the Washington Monument reflection poll, whatever the fuck. You post that, you get 1 million upvotes because they all hate Trump. I bet you can't even shoot the bears, bro, for real. I bet you can't even kill them. I bet you're not legally allowed to kill the bears. If I was in bear country, I would carry a gun on me, and I would kill the bear. That's what I would do. Wouldn't that work? Couldn't you just shoot it and kill it? I bet you're not allowed to. You're supposed to, like, risk your life for, like, the fucking environment. Because they're, like, a protected species or some bullshit. Why don't they just get rid of the ones in the wild and put them in zoos? How is one person dying worth having fucking bears in the forest? Seriously. Like, who thinks this is a good idea? There shouldn't be animals that can kill people in the wild. There shouldn't be animals that do kill people in the wild. Right? We know that bears kill people. Why do they let them roam free then? Like they have rights. They're things. They're not even, they're barely sentient, bro. Seriously. And they're not domesticated. Look, put some in the zoo and then get rid of the ones in the wild. That's what I would do. Yeah, it sounds terrible. You know what's even worse? People dying. People getting mauled. That's true. Saying the quiet part out loud. Watergate would now be a 12-hour news story, and it's crazy it took down his presidency. That's facts. Saying the quiet part out loud. I kind of respect them when they do that, to be honest. I don't like these guys, but I kind of respect it when they do that. This same guy said that, like, if men not having sex is, like, a bad thing, isn't the inverse of, like... I don't necessarily agree with this, but he said, like... He said, like, if men not having sex is a bad thing, it means that, like, having sex with women is, like, has value. And then he said, at the same time, does that value not decrease for women when they have sex over and over and over again? Does it not? Because this is like everyone hates this idea these days, right? It's like absolutely unacceptable and it's extremely sexist. But the male, so like the female equivalent of like incel stuff is like, you know, like, oh, you can't get sex, is like, you're too easy. You'll fuck anyone. You fucked like 300 guys, and your shit's like not worth anything because you give it out to like any guy you see. That's like the women's version of the like virgin critique, is that you're like a slut or a whore or something, right? Which is like totally unacceptable these days, by the way. It's just like the culture we're in now, the women's dominated culture we're in now. Socially, culture is quite female dominated, and it like the politically correct is absolutely. No one considers it like horrific to say, oh, you like sexless to guys. Oh, you're just a virgin, you're a pathetic loser, you're an incel, right? You can't even get sex even if you wanted to. How about these women who will fuck like any guy? And they'll do it over and over and over again. Does that not decline their value in the same way that a man has less value for not having sex? Like, if it's already so easy for women to get sex, How can they be so, like, unselective? Right? If it's so easy for them to get sex, why do they fuck every guy they say? You can literally pick and choose, and they don't. They pick everyone. You can be selective and they choose not to. Like, what does that mean? That's why in like cross cultures, this is like the slut whore critique is like um a thing. I don't necessarily agree with it, by the way. I don't think they should be shit talking people, men, for being virgins or sexless or incels either. But like, that is the parallel to the critique, is that like, and it's ironic because a lot of the girls who go around calling guys incels are the girls that are like fucking every guy, right? There's a girl who've had sex well over 100 times, and they're like 20 something. It's probably like hundreds of times, like multiple hundred times. I don't even know. It's probably maybe it's thousands. Could be. Every day for years is like that's like in the thousands. Every day for multiple years is in the thousands, bro. Like these people are literally like being a virgin to them, to these women, is like the most distant fucking memory. It's like, seriously. And this is you have to say, well, if being a if male sexual like um if men are judged by how much sex they can get and who they can have sex with, shouldn't women be judged by like how selective they are about their partners if it's so easy for them to get sex? Like, it's not a flex for a woman to say, "Oh yeah, I have sex tapes," is it? No, because nobody's impressed by that. If you're a woman saying, "Oh, I have sex tapes," it looks like, oh, like you're not selective. You get with any guy, right? But now they're trying to change the culture and be like, "Oh no, it's fine for women to be like fucking everything, fucking everything minus like the sub five, right?" It's kind of stupid. If men are judged harshly by society for being sexless, virgins, incels, and otherwise not being able to get sex, have sex a lot or at all, then why are women who have basically limitless options, the conventional ones whom if conventional have basically limitless options, not judged by how selective they are with sex and how I guess like restraint, like how exclusive. He said exclusive, right? Exclusive their sexual activity as. Because what he said is like, so, like, sex with women has value. And then he says, like, further point, if you're saying, like, incel is bad, it means sex with women has value for a man. And then further point is, well, doesn't the woman's sex with the woman value decline if it's not exclusive? Like, if she's giving it to everyone, doesn't it decline? I'm not saying I agree with this, but this is like the argument he was putting forward, because that's kind of like the counterpoint. I don't agree with either of them. I don't think a guy has less value just because he doesn't have sex. But a lot of women seem to think that that's true, whilst also believing that women's value doesn't decline by them not being exclusive or having them have fucked like hundreds, if not thousands, of guys over their lives. And they're only like 25 or something, right? Like, the word, like, the words to describe women who are like that exist for a reason, right? In the same way that incel and virgin, which is like a negative description for a male, exist, right? Nobody criticizes women for being virgins because it's like, oh, well, they're like selective and exclusive, right? Because you have to be, because it's very easy for women to get sex with even average looking guys. Like, if they're not exclusive, doesn't the lack of exclusivity decrease the value of it, possibly? Because women hate when so women will like bring up how you're like an incel, and then they'll go like fucking insane when you bring up body count, right? Because there's like this belief now where they say, oh, body count doesn't mean anything. If body count doesn't mean anything for women, why does it mean so much for men if they haven't had sex? If it means so much for men that they are virgins, uh, why does it not matter when women have fucked like 1,000 guys, right? You're supposed to just ignore that and pretend like, oh no, this is like a first time or something. Come on, that's not real. What the fuck? And this is what modern white women are like. They be fucking like hundreds of guys in these places, bro. And it's mostly the same group of guys as well that are getting all the sex. I'm not saying like I want to get with all these girls either. I'm not saying that, right? I'm not desperate. People think, oh, you must be desperate. No, I'm not. I haven't. I could get into a relationship. I just don't want to because I don't like the people available to me. That's a choice. Bro, what's the fucking problem here? If it's difficult for men to get sex, then people will say the men who can get sex are better than the ones who don't. The parallel of that, which we all fucking know, but you're not allowed to fucking say it anymore because society has decided it's like the worst thing you can fucking say to a girl these days. Because they're all like this. Most girls are like this. Most girls meet the past definition of like being extremely promiscuous, right? They be fucking every day different guys. Literally. This is what girls in their 20s, white girls, be doing. They be fucking every day different guys. Every day different guys, bro. That's crazy. This is normal. Maybe not every single day, but like weekly, different guys. This is normal. This is totally normal these days. I didn't even know, because I grew up in like Christian background, so people didn't do that stuff. But this is what girls be doing, bro. Every day, every week, different guys. At least every week, fucking different guys. Holy shit. I'm not saying it's, look, it's not bad. It's just like surprising to me. It does give the impression that they're not very exclusive as well. Like, seriously. If if sex is easy to get for women and difficult to get for men, and men are criticized slash treated negatively and seen as negatively for not having it, not getting it, because it is difficult. Then why? Oh my god, fuck off. I didn't even click that. For having too much of it. It's like, seriously. If men are criticized for not getting enough because it's supposed to be difficult for them, so they're not effective, why are women not criticized for having too much if it's so easy for them? Oh, GTA's closed. I didn't even get in the fucking game. It never loaded. Holy shit. It's been like 20 minutes. Jesus Christ. Whoops. I don't really agree though. Like, I think they should not criticize the man for not getting any. And at the same time, you don't have to criticize the women for having so much. But if we're going to operate on this mode, you have to bring up the parallel, right? Because people are always talking shit about guys for like, oh, you don't get any sex, incel, virgin, loser. And these women be the same women who are like fucking 100 guys. Literally. It's the same women that talk shit about guys not getting any sex that will give it to like any fucking guy above a 5. For real. Any fucking guy. And they're never in relationships and shit either. They're always single. Sometimes they're not. They got like some piece of shit partner who doesn't even care about them most of the time. And they like put their rage onto everyone else. It's absurd. It's usually the whore women who are calling out the virgin incel man. Isn't it ironic that this is like a censored term and these aren't? Incel's not censored, even though it means like the same thing and the opposite. What is an incel if not just the inverse of a whore? It is to they're the same term for different genders. Body count doesn't even talk about how many times you've had sex, which is probably countless for these people. It's literally countless. They couldn't even count. It's literally body count is how many different people. It's not even just how many times, which is like I guess that's not so much the question. The question is really like how many different people because that shows like how exclusive they are, right? I assume that they'll just lie though, to be honest. I assume that most women will do what they always do. Not every woman is like this, but a lot of them are. The average woman is like this, and they'll just lie. They always just lie. They feel like they're being called out. Women just they feel the insecurity that they always have, and then they'll just lie. They always do. They can't be honest. They have to lie about everything. It's what they're like. Most of them. I'm not saying, look, there are some good women. There are some good women. Just not many. It's just a lot of them are shitty, especially in the West. I'm talking mainly about Western women, mainly about white women. Again, I think everyone should be free with sexuality. I'm not anti-sex, I'm pro-sex. I don't actually criticize women for having high body counts necessarily, unless they're gonna be like, oh, you're a virgin. Oh, well, you're a whore. You've fucked thousands of guys. Shut the fuck up, bitch. That's what I've literally got these bitch ass women calling me a virgin. I know their body count is in the double digits, bro. Seriously, what are we talking about? Your body count is obviously in the double digits. I don't even think that's a question. Nobody talks about this shit either. I guess you don't realize that if you don't have sex, but these women are literally fucking, like, large numbers of different guys. It's like a really large number of different guys. And these Western women these days. This is what, feminism is, I guess, pushed for, is women can just fuck as many guys as they like. And you know what? The femcel. Femcel is like the funniest term of the last couple of years, bro. Because unlike incel, which describes people who actually can't get sex, femcel is people who choose not to have sex because they just don't like the guys that they would be having sex with. Which is absurd. They don't even give them a chance most of the time either. That's so fucking stupid. Like, you're not an incel. You're not an incel. An incel is a person who can't get sex. A femcel is someone who chooses not to because they don't like the people they could have sex with. Right? I don't call myself an incel because I could probably get sex with someone if I wanted to. And I fixed my life up and shit. I just don't want to do that because they'd probably be a low quality person anyway. I know I could do that. I got a girl DMing me saying, come to my country. I want to have sex with you. Fuck off. I don't even like her. Seriously. Why would I do that? Why would I spend thousands of dollars to have sex with someone? I can pay $200 and get an hour with an attractive Asian prostitute whenever I want, bro. There are hundreds of them at the agencies. There are hundreds of them. Seriously. They're not, girls aren't exclusive. I can get sex tomorrow or today if I want to. I just don't want to. Because I don't want it to be like that, right? It's not a cope. Like, that's real. I literally could go and do that whenever I want to. People say, oh, it's not real, it's not the same thing. It doesn't, it is the same thing, retard. Are you not having sex? Oh, it doesn't count if it's a prostitute. It's the same thing, idiot. The only difference is that you're exchanging money for it. That's the only difference. Seriously. You say, oh, she doesn't care about you. Hey, fucking revelation, bro. Most of the people fucking each other in real life don't care about each other either. A lot of people who are in relationships with each other don't even care about each other, bro. Sometimes that's a long-term thing. It's not really a big fucking difference. Seriously. It's like, oh, they don't like you. Yeah, well, a lot of people who fuck each other don't like each other, bro. That's what hookups are like. They just like the look of the person. I don't even want to hook up, honestly. It feels like that would be shit. Maybe through an Asian girl. I make an exception for an Asian girl. But that's because it's got meaning to me. And because they're like way more attractive. I probably wouldn't turn that down. What can I say? I also got no idea what it would be like though, because I got no experience. I only watched videos and stuff. No idea what it feels like. Probably hot. First time. I watched this interesting video about Bosnian genocide. The guy was like describing it. He was like documenting. It was like a kind of a documentary TikTok. It was like telling a story about this guy who was there. And then he described genocide, and I thought, oh, that's really interesting, like, the thinking behind it, you know? The kind of logic he described. I gotta throw up. That was really interesting, bro. Understanding the mind, the logic behind genocide. I think he gave a good explanation of it. That stuff's really interesting to me, you know, like in Come and See where they like round them up and they just like brutally murder them and all this shit. I think that's like really interesting. That like kind of anarchy where they kind of just like do whatever they want because they are the law. It's quite powerful. Obviously, most people won't agree with the ethics, but I mean, if they were like Nazis being rounded up and executed, you probably wouldn't feel bad. You probably think, oh, this is great. I feel good about this, right? Something like that. And kind of exhilarating the chaos. Makes life so much more interesting, I swear. A little bit of violence sometimes. Well, not when it's happening to you. I mean, obviously that sucks. But a little bit of chaos spices up life a bit. Really, my life was boring. And I watched Come and See, and it was like, holy shit, left an impression on me. Felt good because it's like it's. I feel like my life looks so orderly on the outside, and it's like actually on the. It's just like everything is just covering up this like rot beneath. This whole rot and like oppression and all this shit. I feel like I'm at fucking war, but obviously it looks like I'm just living some basic ass life, you know? And then when I actually watch war, it's like, it feels more real to me. It feels more honest. Like, it feels like war is like, more like what I feel like that's more a reflection of what I'm actually dealing with. Right? Because internally, with sickness and all this bullshit that I've had to deal with, um, it feels chaotic, but then on the outside, everything is like stable and orderly. And people are gonna say, "Oh, this is like mental illness." No, it's not. I'm not talking about that. I don't have this mental illness they've diagnosed me with. I don't agree with that at all. I've always said this, right? That's not the point. I'm talking about like sickness and then like the constant like abusive stuff that I've had to deal with. War feels more real to me because the chaos outside reflects the chaos inside. It feels more. I feel like relaxed, you know? I feel more stressed when it's like, when it's not chaotic, you know? Because I feel like it's gonna snap at some point, like it's gonna break, or they're gonna make it worse, right? Like these drugs that they put me on. What is the point of these drugs? It is to make a stable outside without resolving anything that actually makes the person suffer internally. That's the whole point. It is to blunt you. They blunt you. That's the point of these drugs, is that they blunt you. They're tranquilizers. They literally used to be called tranquilizers because they just make you tired and sedated. So I like these chaotic, awful, nihilist, violent. They don't have to be violent, but just chaotic and awful and like nihilistic war films. It's like relatable. It's like it speaks to like how I feel, you know? The chaos of it. I kind of wish something like that would happen, honestly. It's like what I'm waiting for. Just waiting for the collapse. Seriously. Just waiting for collapse. It's got spirit to it, you know? It, like, speaks to your soul. The chaos of it. Because it's like a relief. It's like an outlet. You know, I feel like relieved when I watch stuff like this. Because it's like, there's all this like, really just like repressed, like, upset. Like the fucking abuse and stuff. And all this terrible treatment and the like sickness that I've had to deal with for years straight. And there's like no outlet. Where is the outlet? It never gets resolved, and it's never expressed anywhere. I look around in my country, and people are living happy, stupid, dumb, peaceful lives. Like they're retarded or something. That's literally what I see every day. People just go about their fucking lives like there's nothing wrong, like there are no issues. Like the issues that I deal with don't exist. That's how it is here. They just go around acting like there are no issues. It's fucking crazy. That is worse than, like, insane people, literally. Like, people who are, like, fucking crazy and shit. It's, like, almost comforting, because it's, like, at least they're expressing something. You know, as opposed to these fucking NPCs. Which is basically what these people are. They are, like, NPCs. They have no consciousness. They're not fucking conscious. The only people I have, like, anything in common with is, like, radicals. This is why people call you mentally ill. They can't tell the difference between someone who is reasonably radical and someone who is literally insane. The average conformistic NPC-like individual can't tell the difference between a reasonable, educated radical who is acting that way from experience and someone who is, like, just fucking stupid and mentally ill or something. They can't tell the difference. They literally can't tell the difference. It's the same thing to them because it looks the same. Because they literally don't, they cannot understand and refuse. It's not just that they can't. It's an active refusal to consider any other options. They say it must be mental illness because it can't be anything else. And they don't even have evidence that that's the case. They just decide it can't. The judge literally does the appeal to common sense fallacy where he says, I can't imagine there could be any other reason, so there can't be. He doesn't even listen to your explanations. He just says that shit. When I get political power, I'm finding these people, rounding them up, and mass executing them. That's what I'm going to do. Right? And they're going to let me do it. They're going to let me do it because it's the right thing to do, and I'm justified in doing so, and I'm justified in saying so. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make it legal, and then I'm going to do it. And it won't be against the law, because I'll be the law. I'll decide what the laws are, right? Me and my party. We'll make the laws. That's what these people deserve, is execution, nothing less. We'll kill them and get it over with, right? Kill the rot. Pull the rot out and destroy it. That's what you have to do. They need to be executed. All these people that have fucked me over so many times, they need to be executed. That's what I'm going to do. When I get political power, that's what I'm going to do. I'm not a terrorist. I don't do terrorism. I'm going to found a political party, gain political power in this country, and then round up my enemies, put some of them in camps, put some of them in gulags, right? And execute the really bad ones. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to outlaw political opposition, and it'll be my party and no other parties. That's how it has to be. And they're going to call me a bad guy, but I'll be right. And I'm going to flood the country with Chinese. Build big flats for them to live in. And then once there's enough Chinese people in the country, Maybe we can bring democracy back and we'll say, oh yeah, democracy, that's fine. It's fine to have democracy because white people won't be the majority in the country anymore. And they'll be replaced by Chinese, and we won't have this Maori white dictatorship. It'll be a Chinese dictatorship, and they'll be loyal to me, because who brought them here? Me. They'll be loyal to me, right? They'll be loyal to me, loyal to communist ideology, loyal to Chinese ideals, which are largely positive. We can reform them a little bit. Look, they can adopt some white stuff. I'm not, I'm not, you know, it's not a bad idea. Yeah, see how they like it. See how these British in New Zealand, British descent, like being colonized. See how they like it. I wanna teach them a lesson, right? I'm gonna tell them what I'm gonna do, and then I'm gonna do it, and they're gonna let me do it, cause I'm right. You know, we re-educate the whites and rest. You don't have to kill all of them. You can just make them a minority and then re-educate them like they do the Uyghurs and Xinjiang. That's what you gotta do. Maybe peasants as well. How about Chinese peasants? How about like poor people, you know? Maybe they won't want to live though. I'm sure China can spare like 10 million, you know what I mean? Maybe 15 million. I'm sure China can spare like 15 million. They've got 1 point something billion people, right? Where would they go though? And that's a good point. You maybe trickle it through, right? Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Three to one. Dun, 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 dun. Look, they're Chinese, so like if you put them anywhere, they'll probably improve the place they're in, right? Seems to be the case. As long as they don't assimilate, you know, they gotta keep most of their original stuff, integrate a little bit, you know, like learn English and shit, right? I watched this video on this Singapore Raw subreddit. Is this lady's like being videoed, like asked questions. The guy's like, "Are you Chinese?" She says, "No, I'm Singaporean." She's like, obviously Chinese. It's so stuck up to do that shit, bro. It's a fucking joke. And I think he like asks her again. It's like obviously she's Chinese, bro. Like obviously she's Chinese. She just says she's Singaporean. What a fucking joke. Why do they deny it? It's because they're stuck up and they don't want to be associated with People's Republic of China anymore. Because they're fucking stuck up. Bro, literally Lee Kuan Yew, the founder of the fucking state. Are a lot of Singaporeans retarded or something? Do I have a wrong impression just because I had intelligent leadership and one Singaporean person I met was like smart and stuff? Is the average Singaporean not actually that intelligent? Because, like, why are they so fucking stuck up and shit? Seriously. No, it's like Lee Kuan Yew idolized, he, like, had a positive opinion of China. Why have they changed? They've become, like, more American and therefore more retarded. Seriously. Maybe it's a younger generations thing. Probably. Stupid, bro. Been corrupted by Western degeneracy. Just the cultural stuff. It's not even the laws or anything. It's just the cultural stuff. The cultural influence. Proud nationalists. Fuck off. You're Chinese. They're Chinese in the same way that New Zealand and Australia are largely British. Get real. British and Irish is the same thing. They're the British Isles. Who cares? Seriously. Irish really want to be their own thing when they like barely had independence in modern history. Seriously. It's like Poles. Poles are like obsessed with their fucking nationalism and their history because they've barely existed as a country for like the last 300 years. It's a fucking joke. Poland only exists because of World War II, bro. If it weren't for World War II, it'd still be part of other countries, wouldn't it? Wasn't it not independent? Or was it World War One? I can't remember. It doesn't matter anyway. The point is, it's like a petty state. Stupid petty nationalists. What a fucking joke. What is that to be proud of? They hate Nazis and they hate communists and they love the Americans. Ha ha, really funny. Classic Eastern European. Classic Eastern European. Right. Classic Western aligned Eastern European. They hate Nazis, they hate communists. They love the Americans. They're fucking saviors. And they have the most whitewashed propaganda style version of the Americans in their head, honestly. I'd take some acid, antacid. these guys with this goofy ass fucking skin, bro? Always asking deathmatch. Shut the fuck up. I go to China. I get an army, a military. This is like my dream, okay? I come back. I take over the country by force. I lead the military. I take over the country by force. I establish communist dictatorship under my leadership, right? I use fear to my advantage, right? And I demoralize the population. Okay. What was it? I round up my enemies and I kill some of them off, put other them in gulag. I bring in Chinese. I get Chinese management. I bring in Chinese management. I change the laws. Change the laws, bring in Chinese management, flood the place with Chinese. Trickled. At a manageable rate. I give, and then I synthesize white and Chinese ideas, and then I re-educate the rest of them. And then economic growth, stability, better culture, etc. That's what I do. Because I think Chinese people would be upset that these Western countries have fucked them over for so long and antagonized them and everything. Right? I want there to be a war, and I want China to win. That's what I want to happen. That's my dream. My dream is that there is a war between the West and China, and the Westerners lose really badly, and China gets this new mandate over the world. That's what I want to happen. That's what I want to see happen in the world in the next couple of years, please. I don't think it will, but I'd really, really, really like to see that happen. That there's a war between China and the West loses badly, right? I want to see that happen. Well, like with Ukraine, where most of the West is actually too cowardly to directly get involved, and it's just like the United States fighting them. And, the United States loses badly, right? The United States, which is like the golden example, the shining example of the West, right? With all its corruption and degeneracy and shit, right? Gets beaten by enlightened and reasonable intellectual China, right? Meritocratic China beats them. I want to see that happen. And then China will have a new mandate over the world. things will be better. And maybe they will, I don't know, maybe they'll be the same, but I feel like things would be at least slightly better for people like me. Again, I'm not saying the Chinese are perfect or anything. The China country government is obviously worse in some regards. It's worse in quite a few regards, obviously. They do quite a few things worse than the West in some sense, but I think that's largely a reflection of the stage of economic development. They're just not really there yet. You know, it's still, it is considered developed now, but I mean, it's only a very recently developed country. It's not like these countries that have been developed for like, you know, many decades. China is only considered developed like in the last 2 years or something, right? It hasn't had like, you know, 5 decade, like half a century or something of development of like consistent for like developed country status, has it? Still a lot of poverty in the country. I think they'll liberalize when they raise more people out of poverty. Hmm. Because it's like based in superstructure. When people get wealthier, they want more rights. And China is, well, they went too far. And then you had Tiananmen Square and they had to crack down on that. Because they were threatening the leadership. I mean, they're saying like, oh, we should have democracy. What the fuck? You can't do that. After all they've given you, right? It's no wonder they crack down so fucking hard, right? After all the party's given you, you saying, okay, well, you've given us so much, we actually don't need you anymore. That's like, how ungrateful, right? That's what they were like. They're like, we actually want even more for ourselves and we want to get rid of you now. That's what the people who protested were saying, basically. Being greedy. And so they killed them, right? They cracked down so hard that people died. It was totally unnecessary and it only happened because they liberalized so much. You can't liberalize when you are the country competing against the rest of the world. You just can't do that. It creates too much instability, and you get taken over by the imperialists, right? Like to an excessive degree, like the political sphere gets taken over by them. That's what democracy would do to China. It would fragment it. It would split it up into little pieces that are easy to manage for the Westerners. That's the whole purpose of democracy in those countries, right? Democracy works in the West. Well, it doesn't, I'm not saying it works, but it works for Western leadership because the Westerners already dominate the world. Like, of course they can do democracy. They're in the strongest position out of anyone, right? Of course they can do it. It wouldn't work for China because China would just be exploited and taken advantage of like every other developing or poor country democracy that are all shitholes, right? They're all shitholes because they get taken advantage of by the West, and democracy is just not a very good system for running poor countries. That's the reality. A bad dictatorship's not really any better, but at least you can say, well, it's the dictator's fault. It's the dictator and the backer of the dictator's fault. If it's not a dictatorship and you're a democracy and you're poor, who else do you have to blame except the people? Like, they voted for that. Like, it's still the backers, like, they might have financial backing from overseas and stuff. But, like, if we look at, like, Nigeria, India, Philippines, there are so many examples. Most countries, like South Africa, most countries in Africa, most countries in Latin America, all this shit, they're all democracies and they're all poor shitholes. Why is that? Because the people keep voting for terrible leadership. That's the fucking problem. And then, of course, there's the imperialist um, other aspect, which is that sometimes people who might be good leaders get killed. That tends to happen in Latin America, right? Because, the Westerners back the other candidate or whatever. Bum 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 bum. Even a girl on a wheelchair didn't like me back on some dating apps, bro. This is a thing, like, even a lot of chronic illness kind of girls don't want to get with chronic illness guys. Like, and maybe that's true for me as well, I don't know. I feel like people want to date up to a large degree, or at least a little bit. I feel like it's hard if you both have chronic illness, right? Because then you like both dealing with it. Mystery, mystery. Indonesia's another example. Why is Indonesia a shithole? Because the Indonesian people are uneducated and they can't produce a good leader. That's the fucking problem. They can't produce a good leader, and even if they could, they wouldn't vote for them. That's New Zealand as well, by the way. New Zealand has, if New Zealand has produced a good leader, they aren't voting for them. Arguably, the Green Party would do a much better job of leading the country than the current leadership. The problem is nobody votes for them. They have good policies, people just don't vote for them. And people will go like, oh, maybe it's the party's fault. Maybe the party needs to do things differently. Have you considered that maybe it's the people's fault? Have you considered that maybe it's the New Zealand population that's the problem and it's not actually the party that is the issue at all? Have you considered it might be the people's fault for a change instead of blaming the individual that is, like, failing? Maybe consider the circumstances under which they are having to struggle to succeed, right? Maybe it's because the New Zealand population is just so hostile to fucking reasonable ideas. Even when they say they're progressive, they still vote for stupid fucking parties who don't even represent the stuff that they say that they agree with, and wouldn't vote for someone who actually does for stupid fucking reasons. Stupid fucking reasons such as them, oh, the policies are too complicated. Just say you're an idiot then. Holy shit. Why do people get to vote when they're so stupid? I don't think everyone should be allowed to vote. That's controversial. I don't actually think everyone should be allowed to vote. I don't think that people should vote at all. I think we should have a dictatorship like China does, where it's just reasonable leadership at the top. Why can't we have that? Instead of stupid fucking election cycles with the same bullshit every year, it's just a slight variation of the same thing. It goes nowhere. What are we doing? The fuck is my country? This is the shit I have to deal with. It's absurd. Have you considered that the population is at fault? Does anyone consider that? Because apparently that's the thing you're not allowed to consider, is that it might be the population's fault. Maybe it's not the party's fault. Maybe the party has good ideas, good messaging, and the population is just fucking stupid or something. That's also true. Like, the population is just stupid. They are stupid. And the Green Party, look, if we're gonna blame the Green Party, you could say, well, maybe their communication's not the best. That's mainly optics. And that's what democracy is, basically. Democracy is like an optics competition. It's about how you look, not how about things actually are. The Green Party could be as the most capable party with the best policies that would help everyone, and simply because they don't appear to be as such to people, for superficial reasons, and because of like, you know, there's like this like popular impression that they're like incompetent, which has been spread by right-wing parties, so people don't vote for them. Because they want to believe this, because this is what New Zealanders are like. They want to believe that there are no good options, because, you know, it's too complicated for them to think in nuance, so they just vote for one of the two major parties every election. That's what people here are like. Because they don't actually struggle enough to have to go like, oh, maybe there's another solution. They just say, I guess I'll vote for a different party this year. Oh, it was National last time. I guess I'll vote for Labour this time because I don't really like how things are going. That's how the vast majority of New Zealanders vote, bro. Oh, I didn't like the last 3 years, so I'm gonna vote for National. Oh, I didn't like the last 3 years, so I'm gonna vote for Labour. That's how the vast majority of New Zealanders vote. That is literally what they do. It's fucking crazy. Oh, I did like the last 3 years. I'm gonna vote for the same main party again. That's what they do. That's exactly what the vast majority of New Zealanders do when they go to the polls. They don't care about politics. They don't know about politics. They probably don't know anything about any of the minor parties. Most people in this country, you get to election cycles. What's the most common fucking Google search? What is left wing? What is right wing? People don't even know the fucking basics. This is like 15-year-old political science knowledge. This is like, you have to learn this shit before you're 18, bro. Or like when you turn 18. Learn this shit. Jesus Christ. This is literally how people vote in this country. They have no idea what they're doing. They just make shit up. And it doesn't work and they wonder why. Because they have no fucking clue what they're doing in the first place. It's absurd. It's just a retarded country because the people are fucking stupid. That's the whole problem. New Zealand is full of stupid anti-intellectual people and fascists. And there's barely anything else. It's a combination of the two or both for the majority of individuals. Yeah, my parents are a combination of the both, right? Basically everyone I know is kind of they're either a combination of these two or one or the other, or they're marginalized, right? I hate this country's system so much. It's so dog shit. Does the Green Party have bad optics? Yes, absolutely. That's the main problem, bro. The main problem with the Green Party is they have bad optics. They look bad to people. That's the problem. They look bad. It's not that they are bad, it's that they look bad. What could I exploit to, something popular? Some kind of popular sentiment. Working class resentment, there's something. That's what most communists go for. But I feel like it's more than that, right? There's not really any national sentiment. I kind of don't like this country, I kind of don't fit in here, to be honest. People would think that a person like me would be, oh my fucking god. He literally just pulled into me for no fucking reason. I am going to massacre you. Die. People would think that a person like me would be better off as like a fucking terrorist cell leader or something, but I don't think so. I just need to figure out something that I can exploit in this country, Like all good leaders do. They exploit some popular feeling. This is what all good charismatic leaders do. They exploit some kind of popular resentment or something, right? Not sure what that would be yet. Anti-fascism? That could be something. So many people in GTA are basically fascists, bro. It's crazy. Shit is insane. I feel like anti-fascism is too vague. It doesn't go far enough either. It's not just fascism that I want to stamp out, it's anti-intellectualism, the arrogance of white culture. They need to be taught a lesson, seriously, that they're actually not the best. These people think that they are the best and that there's no competition, and that is false. They are bad people, right? That kind of sentiment would rally minorities, but they really aren't. Minorities aren't really a big group. Like, even if you add them all together, ethnic minorities, if we like half the Maori percentage, because probably at least half of the Maori percentage is like whites who call themselves Maori, like me. Like I'm technically Maori, but I'm basically white, you know. Um, Even if we halve that, I mean the total is only like 20%. 1 in 5. I mean, the Maori resentment is quite. If we look at all parties, they all kind of manipulate a sense of resentment from different groups. The Greens, it's like leftist, LGBT, educated, and government worker resentment. Maori Party, it's Maori resentment. Um, the Labour Party is like bureaucratic unions and government workers, government bureaucrats resentment. National is like small business resentment, petit bourgeois resentment, um, landlord resentment. Actors like educated people who are right wing resentment, right? And like what do they call it? Like libertarian style, but they're not really libertarian. There's people who think of themselves as libertarian but are actually conservative resentment. And then New Zealand First is like urban Maori and like rural people. National's also rural people, but New Zealand First is like what do you call them? Like it's kind of like rural communities resentment, which are largely right wing. I hate rural culture, bro. It's extremely regressive. These people are awful. And it's fucked how there are these people in GTA who are like they act like that as well. You know, that's because they're trash. It's because they're fucking lumpons, right? It's because they're like a step away from lumpons. Their whole culture is lumpen culture. My culture's not lumpen culture. I put it on when I'm playing the game and shit, and I adapt parts of it. Like, I swear a lot, and I'm kind of, like, vulgar about things, but I haven't grown up in lumpen culture. I grew up in, like, petit bourgeois. You know, that's not, like, actually my, like, born culture. I'm kind of like a class trader, you know? Class trader, maybe like a race trader as well. Basically, I'm at this point. What's to like about New Zealand whites? Nothing. There's nothing to like about them. They're bad people, largely. Look, there's not absolutely nothing. Maybe that's a bit extreme, but they are bad people regardless. Most of them are bad people. This country needs a whole culture change, bro. Seriously. We need to get back some of the, like, structure in society. For real. Like, people have too much freedom these days. It's absurd. There literally is. And retarded ass Westerners and fucking American fans will tell you there's no such thing as too much freedom. Yes, there is. There absolutely is such a thing as too much freedom. Drug addicts have too much freedom, right? And they ruin their lives with it. If the drug addicts weren't free, they wouldn't be ruining their lives. Some of these other things that people get addicted to or do to an excess are like drug addictions, right? And it ruins the structure of society, for real. And then other stuff only exists to like compensate for it. Like we say, like if if people were in loving sexual relationships, what need would they have for like pornography? Probably none, you know? Unless they're really into that shit. If they were in a loving, committed sexual relationship, you probably wouldn't need pornography. The reason why it's so popular these days is people are in sexless relationships, or they can't even get a relationship with someone that they like in the first place, right? And then people say, oh, it stops you from searching for one. Well, it actually doesn't necessarily have to do that. It kind of doesn't make a difference if there are none available to you, right? Like the guy in the sexless relationship, if he quits porn, he's still stuck in the relationship that he won't leave because it gives him some things but not everything. But then he's not sexually satisfied either, right? Which makes people get pissed off and shit. It like makes a lot of people irritated. Do they even recognize? I swear there's like a bunch of women who aren't sexually satisfied and they're like irritated all the time. They don't even recognize that that's the reason why. Seriously. It's like a stereotype, literally. It's like a stereotype because it's kind of true. They'd be like bitter and weird and like petty because they're not having sex, they're not jerking off or anything because they're repressed. Because I think it's like there's still a common opinion amongst women to be like thinking that sex is bad and being like repressed and like repressing themselves. Why is it still like that? I swear women haven't changed and like it's a section of women haven't changed and they still have like Christian ethics despite being atheists. Their ethics are still largely Christian. They haven't really changed. How can you be an atheist and be anti-sex and not be a Christian? Like, that's Christian morality, bro. It's Christian morality. Fucking stupid. People will think I'm contradicting what I said earlier about body count and stuff. I don't actually agree with that. Like, I'm pro-sex. I think people should have as much sex as they want. I don't really care. Like, some people will be more selective and say, I want my partner to have a low body count. That's fine as well. It's a fine preference to have. There are a lot of women saying you can't have that preference these days. Well, you can. It's a fair preference to have. Right? Like, women will be like fucking 300 guys in a couple of years. And they will think nothing of that. If you heard that your guy that you're dating had had 300 past relationship partners, you would be like, oh, what the fuck? That's a red flag. But apparently it's not a red flag when a girl's fucking 300 guys. Doesn't even have to be three. Look, 300 is like an absurd amount for past relationships. What if the guy was like 20 and he'd had 10 exes? You know? Like, that's a really high number for that age. Okay? Wouldn't you think that's a red flag? Like, he'd only been dating since he was 17 and it's 18, he's got like 10 exes. You'd be like, why has he got. You'd be like, oh, he's like got baggage or something. Isn't it the same logic? It's. Like, it's different, but like at the same time, there's kind of something in common there, right? Or say 15. Say he's had 15 past relationships. You would say about the guy, why can't he keep a relationship? You could similarly say about the girl, why is she so, why is she so easy, you know? Again, I'm not saying I agree with that. I'm just saying, like, there's a counter argument. There's like a not a counter argument, but there's like a parallel for the other gender that people don't talk about these days because you're not really allowed to, apparently. It's considered like a really disgusting thing to say. Is like your body count. What's your body count? Oh, that's too high. That's gross. But it's perfectly acceptable for women to make fun of a guy for being a virgin or an incel. Like, why do we have this double standard in society? Just another one of society's double standards and how people are allowed to treat women as opposed to men. They treat women nicely and protect women, and then they treat men like shit and expect them not to do anything about it. It's fucking stupid. I could do like big tent targeting like minorities and undergrounds and like dissidents and all those. I could call it like dissent. Cause bro, the representation of like Chinese and Indians and shit, even Maori people in big parties in New Zealand is tokenistic at best. It's not real. They're basically tokens, diversity tokens that the parties have. They don't really care about those communities. They just want to seem like they do. That's the whole problem with democracy. Is it's just an optics competition. It's just about who looks the most a certain way, and not about how something really is. It's fucking bullshit. It's fucking stupid. Like how people will say, "Oh, Obama's so progressive just because he's black," when he was like bombing children in Afghanistan and shit. You know, I was right wing. The party is center at best. Aren't the Democrats even like center right? Aren't they not even like center left necessarily? Like they're kind of left socially, but economically and in terms of like war and foreign policy, they're like right wing. It's fucking crazy. Socialism at home, fascism abroad. That's funny. I feel like Big Tent is too vague. It doesn't direct well enough. We need look if we're going traditional model of authority. One of these we're not going at, but one of the points there is like common. You got like shared purpose or like common. What is it called? I'll pull it up. Common purpose, feeling of common purpose. Who do I have common purpose with? I guess it's like the marginalized. It's like margins, people on the margins of society. That's who I feel I have the most in common with, right? I don't feel like I have in common basically anything with people who are like conforming in society. People who aren't on the margins of society, I have like nothing in common with, and they don't like me. I basically only have things in common with people on the margins. That's just like, because I am on the margins, and I've been on the margins for like 7 years, and it's just gotten worse as time's gone on. Like, as I keep ramming the point home that like you're not like us, we don't like you. That's what's been told to me all the fucking time, ever since I've been sick. Even before I got sick, people treated me like this when I wasn't a people pleaser. Until I started people pleasing, people would always treat me like you're not like us, we don't like you. That was always the case, right? You're not like us, we don't like you. That's how they treat you, right? That's fucked. I don't even. How's that even gonna work? Most people are white. I don't even like most white people, bro. It's like a culture thing. maybe Chinese people don't like me though, so still trying to figure it out. Look, margins is something. It's something. I put some country on. I go like Asian music, Asian, hip hop, country. This is kind of like most of what I listen to, right? Why is Reddit sending me a notification, bro? Someone liked your comment. I don't care about that. Breaking news. I don't give a shit. This is Iran war news. Shut up. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Where's my country stuff? I feel like farmers can be reformed though, right? Maybe. You just need to re-educate them a little bit. I feel like they're kind of poorly done by though. Like, they were like terrible to me, but at the same time, I can kind of understand why they act that way, because they work hard and like nobody cares about them. Does this exist? Chinese country music. Fuck, I'm tired. Why do I have to, like... Do you know this retarded bullshit that your fucking body does? Where you go to bed like 5 hours later, and your body says, oh, let's wake up at the same time. Oh, you went to bed way later? Oh, okay. I'm gonna wake you up at the same fucking time. Why does that happen? So, instead of 8 or 10 hours sleep, I get 4. Why is that a good idea? Why would you wake me up at the same fucking time if I went to bed like 5 hours later? Holy shit. It's retarded. Why the fuck does it do that? Why is the body so fucking stupid, bro? Why does it do that? Why would you wake me up at the same time? I go to bed at like 2 a.m. and it wakes me up at fucking 7. Because I woke up at 7 the day before. That's the only reason why. That's fucking stupid. Nothing woke me up. I just was woken up because my body decided to wake me up at that time. Retarded ass fucking thing. Jesus Christ, why does that happen? Now I'm really fucking tired. This music's kind of boring. I'm so tired. That stuff's trash. I hate the rural side of New Zealand, bro. It's awful. Fucking hell. It's so rough. It is so fucking rough, bro. People are corrupt. All they do is like fucking talk shit and drink. That's all they do. Talk shit, yell, get angry, and drink. That's their culture. You ask me why I don't like them, because that's all they did. Talked shit, yelled at me, drank. That's literally all they did. It was awful. It was fucking awful. It's one of the worst experiences of my life. A week of hell. Disgusting people. You will my goddamn phone and shut it off. Just trying to be in just another missed call. I'm so fucking tired, bro. Why do I feel like I'm gonna throw up again? Yeah, I gotta throw up. This made me cry, bro. I literally cried. It was so bad. Shit was like an extreme culture shock. I was not used to that shit at all. Seriously. Jesus Christ. Just another missed call. I don't think Asian girls even like me, bro. That's sad. Peak. What a good song. Got so much soul to it, some of this country stuff. Some of it. Maybe this is like country rock, I don't know. Just check my Discord. Step away. Judgment Day. Get out of the way! Oh my god, stop slowing me down. I'm trying to go fast. Did I miss? Oh, fucking hell. Mystery, you always crash. You crash all the time. I didn't even think about that until people brought it up, bro. I'm just driving. Why do these people care so much? Holy shit. I never even think about that. I don't even think about it. The fuck? It's like classic white people. Everything has to be perfect. And if it's not perfect, they just harass you until you do something about it. This is like classic white people, bro. If it's not perfect, they hate it. They have this like purity culture, you know? This is like where fascism comes from. Everything has to be perfect and pure. police kill me? Yeah. Her side. Oh, he's on. And a broken heart with no vacancy. Broken heart with no vacancy. No vacancy. I didn't know he was online. It didn't tell me. Oh, he's not. That's weird. Why can't I message him then? Why could... Did he just go offline? The fuck? I like these blue collar like joke videos. There's this guy who does like impersonation on TikTok. It's so funny. You get like insight into the culture as well. Yeah, my like closest friend from high school, he went into blue collar. He did an apprenticeship in carpentry. I haven't talked to him in years because he's like going right wing. I don't know. I want to say he's probably still a good guy, but I honestly don't know. I think he was kind of like lost in life or something, because like he was from the UK. He went back to the UK after high school. I think he was like lost or something, because he was like he said he was gonna like join. I wasn't in contact with him at the time, but he said to other people he was gonna like join the military and be like a medic. And I think to myself, bro, like joining the military is the like lost. That's what guys who are lost in life do, right? It's kind of absurd. Maybe it's because I left. I wonder if it's like has to do with the fact that I left school and it was like maybe that's putting too much weight on my influence. But we were close friends, so I kind of wonder if like me leaving kind of affected him, you know? And he was like didn't know what to do after that. And maybe he thought, because I was like an intellectual, so maybe he thought, well, like, intellectualism can't save people or something. Or maybe I made him feel like an idiot a couple of times, I might have. Probably thought he wasn't good enough. I doubt that, he was smart. He seemed pretty smart to me, he had intellectual curiosity, which is not common. It's kind of rare. And he respected intellectualism as well, which is like super rare around here. He was a good guy. I don't know if he's still a good guy. But when I knew him, he was a good guy. Closest friend. Is a bad combination. Is a bad conversation. Degenerates. In a bad state of mind. I wonder if he drinks or if he's like straight edge like me. I think he's got a girlfriend now. I shouldn't have dipped out of his life, bro, but he just kind of like said some things that I didn't like. He made some inferences that he's like a right winger, and I just hate that shit, bro. It's like, yeah, I lost like what were some good relationships to that shit. I have. But, you know, that's just. I'm not gonna compromise the stuff that means something to me, you know? I can't accept that shit. I can't accept the right wing stuff, bro. Right? Not given my life's experience, I can't accept that shit, right? Right wingers think people like me should just die. Literally. How am I gonna accept that? That's what they think. They think people like me should just die. Because I'm like a burden to society or something, and I've got no inherent value. And they should just get rid of me, and society will be better off. Because I'm costing the government, like, you know, what is it, like 22,000 a year in welfare? So they think if they just kill me, then it costs nothing, and society will improve. I'm sure if we met up, it'd be just the same. Him and I were really similar, bro. I always wanted to be his friend when I was younger as well, like when I first got to the school, but we weren't really close back then because we weren't in the same classes or anything. But we have a similar manner, you know, kind of reserved, kind of quiet, introspective, you know. Obviously, that's not what I'm like on stream, but that's what I'm like when I'm around other people. Most people here aren't like that. Most people here don't like it. They're actually, it's not just that they're not like that, they actually don't like it. You know, like I said before, like you're on the margins, and it's not just a, you're not like us. It's not just you're not like us, it's you're not like us and we hate you for it. People hate you for it. You're not like us if we don't like you, and we hate you for it. I'll pay for my sins. Get out of the way! On the one hand, the farm experience was fucking awful. On the other hand, I can kind of relate to the farmers in a sense, because we're both on the margins of society, right? The people who influence New Zealand society are largely like urban people. It's largely like conformist, conventional urban people who I have like nothing in common with. Don't give a damn. I'm sure one day I'll pay for my sins. So when we say, oh, society has this and that issue, well, given it's a democracy, it's actually kind of their fault. like they're kind of responsible for it. It's funny, isn't it? I like Asian pop and traditional music, but I'm not Asian. I kind of like country, but I'm not rural. I'm not blue collar. I like I like some hip hop, but I'm not a lumpen. I'm not poor. I haven't grown up in the streets. That's fucking bullshit. Like, no one will accept me because I'm not really in these cultures, bro. And I can't fully relate to any of them either. I'm always on the margins. And I'm not really like an incel either, because I don't hate women. I don't really hate women, I don't really blame them. It's just, it is what it is. Like, I don't hate women. How can I be an incel if I don't hate women? Like, the whole point of incel stuff is that they, like, resent women. And I don't. So, I just mess around with that stuff. I'm not actually, like, someone who hates women. It's not their fault. It's just, they don't like me. So, you know, it is what it is. Like, what else are we gonna do? I don't care. Like, I mean, it'd be nice if some of them did like me, but that's not gonna change. So it's not like I'm gonna like take it out on them or something, or like be resentful against them. It's stupid. Why would I do that? It's not their fault. It's like I just am considered low value by society. Like it's a social issue. Why would you blame the individual? I feel like nobody accepts me, bro. Like, for real. Like, nobody I like accepts me. They just want you to, like, perform a role and shit. Nobody accepts you for who you are. Blue collar farmer that's tied to work and lifestyle. What's the third one? Hip hop. I couldn't do blue collar if I wanted to, bro. That shit would like wreck me. Same with farming. Life's hard enough. It's a struggle enough just to keep going every fucking day, bro. You have to do it anyway, though. It's not like you got a choice. I'm not gonna kill myself, so it is what it is. Bro, what is this? Scab. That's not even them. It's a feature. Ah. It looks like I'm just like being a poser and shit. It's like, yeah, well, kind of. I've got no culture, bro. My culture's abandoned me. The stuff I grew up with doesn't, what do you say? Doesn't something me anymore. Like, that doesn't work anymore. It doesn't support me anymore. I can't rely on it anymore, all of this. Largely white culture doesn't work for me anymore either. Like, they don't support me. White people don't support me, bro. They don't care about me. Look at my life. Like, this is their choice. They could help me and they just choose not to. This is what white people are like. They don't help you. They don't want to help you. They don't want you to do better by receiving help from anyone. They just tell you to, like, go fuck yourself. Like, do it yourself or fuck off. That's what they tell you to do. They let people like me just rot. That's literally what they do. They let us rot. Because they don't want to help. It's fucking bullshit. I think people like me don't deserve help. You think I enjoy this? No. Could be so much better. Oh, SA means salam alaikum. think I'll go to bed soon. I'm gonna get more sleep. Bye. Okay, I'm gonna get off now.